Welcome back. It's the Bite Me Cast. I'm your host, David, and we are recapping the season finale of Teen Wolf. First, I need to say that I guess they're calling it a mid-season finale. I didn't know that Teen Wolf, because in previous years or previous seasons, they haven't extended past 10 or 12 episodes. We ended at 12, and then supposedly in January, it is coming back for a season 3B. So it'll be the second half of season 3, which is kind of odd. They start in the summer, they're going to break on the fall, and then come back in the winter, which in January. So it's going to be really interesting because I think we tied everything up, even though there's a lot going on, a lot happened. I was like, how are they going to pull this off? So it's interesting, and I looked at some of the different blogs, and I also checked out MTV's page. If you guys want to check out the season finale, you can go to our webpage at recycledblogtalk.blogspot.com and click on the Bite Me Cast page, and there is a the final episode for season 3A, I guess we'll call it, lunar eclipse, on the page. But back to what's going on now in present day. I can't think about the future, although I did hear that they're bringing on some new people. There's going to be a new villain. People that you thought wasn't dead may or may not be back in ghost form or flashback form, which is going to be Kate Argent. If you remember, it's Allison's aunt. So that should be interesting, and also will be interesting to see in season 3B. It would be see the relationship between Scott, Allison, and Isaac, because Isaac and Allison had that moment, and if you go to the MTV page, you'll be able to see where Allison and Isaac are in the bed together, but it is like a dream sequence where you will see Kate Argent. And you're listening to the Bite Me Cast. Anyway, season finale, mid-season finale. I'm confused. I will say this: it was better than the True Blood finale. Unfortunately, it was better. They did what they were supposed to do. And it starts off, last week we ended with them, Scott, Allison, and Styles being put under that little cold water trance thing that they did to Isaac to find out where Boyd and Erica was at the beginning of the season. So they're doing it to Scott, Allison, and Styles to find their parents. And for whatever reason, and it's at a cost to bring darkness in their soul or in their heart. We'll talk about that later. But Scott, when he wakes up out of this trance, which he's not, he's in the trance still. He's getting bit by the wolf. What happened in first season? So we get to see how much he's grown from season 1 to now season 3, and it's quite a change actually. But you show so that he backs up against this huge stump where this tree used to be, and then when Styles wakes up, he's out there with Scott. They're not really interacting, the young Styles and the present day Styles, and then he bumps in because he sees his father. Then he bumps into this stump, and then you see Allison driving in the car with her mother, and she almost hits Scott. This is all from season 1, and then when they go back to look to make sure he was okay, she walks upon the stump, and then they all come out of this trance, and then they know where the parents are, and which they really just kind of not flashback, they just went back and forth to them, and that really wasn't the focus. Today the focus of the season finale was Scott becoming an alpha, who was Mrs. Blake, quote unquote, the Rock going to kill, what was Deucalion's part in all this, the twins, because Kali, and I think I say Kali, but one of the twins called her Kali. She goes to kill Derek, and one of the twins is telling Lydia, Derek, and Peter, and Lydia, and all them that he needs to go because she's coming. The full moon is coming, and she's not going to wait for everybody to lose their powers to take on Derek. But so Derek and Nora take off, and then Kali is there, ready to attack Lydia, and I think Styles is there. No, Lydia and the twins, and one of the twins is the twin that goes with Lydia. He's growling at her, and she's like, "Oh, really?" But before we get down to the get down, here comes the Rock. Jennifer falls through the ceiling, well, jumps through the glass ceiling, and she's like, "Who's first?" And so the fight, and I love Lydia. She's like, "Is this ready to get very violent?" And Deacon, he says, "I think so." And and so there's a fight where the twins start to merge, and she breaks them apart. And then Kali and her really wasn't a fight, and Kali tells her, "I should have killed you to start with." And she's like, "Well, this is all about power." And she kind of phoenixed this glass up, and she just kind of stabs Kali. And I'm glad. I never liked Kali's character, and I guess they wanted you to hate her, so they did their job because nobody cared that she died. At least I didn't. But then the twins try to merge, and she pulls them apart, knocks them out. When she does go after Lydia, the twins have finally emerged into the Mega Alpha, and she snaps their neck. And so I'm like, oh my God, we've had 3 deaths in the first 15 minutes. So I thought that was interesting. So after that fight is over, she goes to Lydia and she says, I need you to do what you do best, little Banshee. Scream. And so she does scream, and of course Nora and Derek hear her, and it's like, we have to go back to help these guys. Then it looks like we go back to where Scott, Allison, and Styles go back to the Arden house, and guess who's there? It's Scott's father, the FBI agent, and he's asking him questions, and Allison pulls a trick, and she flash bombs him or something with them, smoke bombs him, and then they head out to go get their father. But then Scott knows he has to go help Derek at this point, but it all kind of just gets kind of crazy in the center. But the main focus was then there's the big fight between Jennifer, because she gets to Derek. She's like, I need a guardian. If you want, so I don't want to kill those 3 parents. I need you to be my guardian, because she can't take on DeKellion and Scott by herself. And so they all arrived at this warehouse. I don't know exactly where they were. And here comes Jennifer, the Rock, and then not Scott. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little tongue tied. I just watched it last night, so it's still kind of fresh, but it's not synced in yet. I've been looking at some other things and reading some things, so everything's in my head. I wrote a lot of stuff down, but I just got a little confused. But anyhow, with her is Derek, and Scott is with DeKellion. And then the big battle. And at first I thought, oh, this is ready to be something, but DeKellion is a bad boy. She grabs, I guess Derek grabs him, and then she comes in to do one of her little force bolt push off Jean Grey things, and it doesn't work. He knocks her down, and then she puts up one of those the little black ash force fields, and then Scott is able to become a true alpha. He kind of reaches his pinnacle, and he gets through it, and she wonders why. And then DeKellion wants Scott to kill her, and he's like, I'm not going to kill her. And then you see DeKellion's true alpha wolf face, which was kind of scary. It's kind of haunting, and I'm like, wow, DeKellion is the man. And then Scott, he doesn't kill her, and DeKellion is going to make him kill her, but then the full moon, the eclipse, strips all the DeKellion, Scott, Derek's powers away, and then she's like, okay, it's my chance. So she slams DeKellion's head in the ground, pushes Scott off, Derek tries to stop her. She tries to stop Derek, but it was only going to last 15 minutes. He eventually gets his powers back now with the blue eyes, because he healed Nora, so now he's not an alpha anymore. And then he's able to stop her, and he was ready to kill her. And he says, I may be a predator, but I'm not a killer. And that's what his mother had told him. And then they're saying, killer, killer, killer. This is what's killing son. But he's like, if you won't, I will. So he slashes her up pretty good. And then the storm that's being controlled, that's going to bury, now that Allison and Isaac and Styles had a wreck, have made it to where the parents are, is going to bury him underneath the ground. The storm stops, and the Killian is talking to Scott and Derek, and he's like, we let you live. He says, but the next time you just won't see us coming. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Like I said, he evolved to the alpha like he wants to be. Well, like, not that he wanted to be, like he was destined to be. Like we've been getting hints for the last 2 seasons. Everybody knew it was coming. Allison and her father. This is the thing. She made a comment at the very end, like, what they went through, Scott, Allison, and Styles, what they went through brought darkness into their hearts, and it kind of made Beacon a beacon for bad things, whether it's supernatural or bad people. So to me, it kind of had, and I read it in one of the reviews, even from MTV, is their version of Buffy and Sunnydale. You guys know how much I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But Buffy with Sunnydale, because Sunnydale was on the Hellmouth, which drew all the nasties to Sunnydale that Buffy eventually fought. I guess they're going to take this thing on as well. Beacon is the city, and it's going to be a beacon for all these supernatural badasses to come and terrorize the city. But Allison's, to her father, their new motto is going to be, we protect those who can't protect themselves. So I don't know if she's going to be like a Allison the Supernatural Slayer, but that's going to be interesting. I don't know if I particularly like that, but they had to go somewhere. They just can't deal with the whole werewolf paradox and the werewolves and the Durocs, and everything was so werewolf centric, which is done very well for three seasons. With the whole werewolf thing, I never thought it could be explored as much as it has been, because Buffy started out vampire only, and then they had to do something. They had to tell more stories, so they developed, not that you're only a vampire slayer, you're a slayer for all the evil and demons that come here or wherever. So this is kind of, I think this is the same route that these guys are taking with Teen Wolf, and so hopefully season 3B, we'll be able to see some things develop. Aiden and Ethan, I think they're going to be continue to be in. If nothing happens, they're both in relationships. You see it one of the last scenes when Scott's, and I think it's cool. Scott earlier in the episode said that he wasn't really worried about his parents because his pack would take care of him. So he considers, Styles, Allison, Lydia, Isaac, he considers them his pack, which I thought that was kind of cool. I think the underlying tone is of real friendships. Kind of last no matter what, and you can count on your real friends. So I like that message they sent. But also, Derek and Nora, they leave, so you don't know where they're going. Where they're going. It looks like they're going to parts unknown. But the very last scene, which I knew this was going through the whole last 2 seasons with Peter. Peter was no longer an alpha. But when the Duroc, Jennifer, gets back to the tree to get the power back, she says, you healed me once before. Before she touches it, you see Peter. Well, you see somebody, a werewolf hand, grab her arm. So I thought it was the Killian. But then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's Peter. And then, of course, it's Peter. He's like, yeah, we're not going to let you do that. And then he slices her throat. So, but from what they're saying, she's not really dead, because you really never see her die. And she tells him, she's like, you knew what you were doing all along. You've always wanted to steal Scott's power after he becomes an alpha. And he's like, they don't know what they've done. And then he slashes her throat. And he's like, I am the alpha. I'm the true alpha. And he's screaming and going off in the woods. So I thought that was really, really interesting. So is Peter going to be the bad guy in season 3B, or is something else coming? Are we going to see Kendra from Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Or did they kill her? I can't remember. Is the Rock coming back? There's so many things that I want to know, but I think they ended on a good note. This series has been so awesome. Tyler Posey, he was actually on an episode of The X's. He's getting sex symbol status now. And he was on the episode, shirtless. He's grown up, and supposedly, I guess you guys didn't know, they're going to do a spinoff. I don't know if Derek is going to get his own show, if Derek and Nora is going to get his own show, but they're doing so many spinoffs of these shows. I heard, and I'll talk more about this on our Fanboy Weekly show. Supposedly, Teen Wolf's getting their own show, a spinoff. Arrow's getting a spinoff. I don't know what a spinoff of Arrow could be, because they haven't introduced enough people, unless they're going to give one to the Huntress, which, she's had her own deal on the Justice League Unlimited series. But anyhow, that's more Fanboy Weekly stuff. And then also, this show will, of course, when we're now done with True Blood and Teen Wolf for the time being, starting back in September, October, we have the Vampire Diaries, which they already have a spinoff, which is going to debut in the fall, called The Originals. So we have a lot to talk about on the Bite Me cast coming up, and then Walking Dead. And there's some other supernatural shows that are getting spinoffs. So I can't wait. It's going to be kind of crazy, maybe too much TV for me to watch, but I know you guys will be listening to my kind of in and out, all over the place reviews. But I do thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to check the blog. Check out our partners on recycleblogtalk.blogspot.com. Go to the partners page. We have some great deals offered from some of our new partners. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Check us out on Facebook at The 5x5, or tweet us at The 5x5, or go to Recycle Blog Talk for past shows. Thanks for tuning in.